guest on this Friday. We have Megan Jones from Zaza in the Mornings on KVIL with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Love that you're here. And of course, Michael Urie, who was here earlier this week, and you just can't stay away.
I won't. I keep coming back. I think I buried a bone here, and I keep coming back to sniff for it.
You, of course, are in town for your show that runs through Sunday?
Saturday. Three more performances, tonight and two tomorrow.
I'm going tonight.
Yay.
I can't wait. Buyer and Cellar. It looks hilarious.
I don't know.
Yeah, you better get tickets.
Saturday. Last chance, right?
But Michael, it's so kind of you to come in. And the reason we asked you to come back was because you had some personal stories about Joan Rivers. You knew her. And so we wanted you to share those with us.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very happy to talk about Joan. I mean, I have to say I didn't know her very well, but she was one of those people who worked so much and was so relevant and was so out there that I did manage to get into her sphere a few times. And she saw me in several plays in New York. And we, always said hello afterwards. And we actually did an animated show together. That's us doing. We did this animated. That's Susie Essman and Seth Rudetsky behind us. It was called Fashionista and Glamour Girl, and she played a mild-mannered costumer who became a superhero, and I played her little gay dog. Not my first time playing a little gay dog, actually. And that's when she came to see the play I'm in now. She came to see Buyer and Cellar when we were in New York.
Oh, she did. New York, of course, her home base. She lives there.
And she used to perform at the Laurie Beecham Theater, which was on 42nd Street, downstairs from the West Bank Cafe, which is like this great theater hangout. And the Laurie Beecham Theater underneath was like, I mean, maybe 100 people could be in there at once. And she had a standing gig there. She would perform there 2-3 times a week, I think, for 100 people. She's Joan Rivers, and she would perform. She would give a whole hour to just 100 people, and there'd be new jokes. And I saw her there a few times, and she would have her jokes written on the floor, on big cards on the floor. She was constantly writing, constantly working, and she was the kindest, most thoughtful. She always had something interesting and thoughtful to say whenever you saw her, and something funny. She was the kind of person who she didn't mind being funny just to one person. She wasn't saving it for she would be funny if you had an interaction with her that no one else could hear. She would be funny just for you.
She's truly funny, like not just
truly
I think a lot of people don't realize too, like she was no stranger to Broadway. Didn't she win a Tony?
I was nominated.
Maybe she nominated for a Tony Award
for a show called Sally Moore and her escorts.
I mean, she was in a movie opposite Burt Lancaster. I mean, this woman had the most amazing career. Let's not forget too, she had her jewelry design, her jewelry line that she designed and sold on QVC, I think. She had the reality show with her daughter Melissa.
A few of them,
yeah. And,
she won The Apprentice.
She won, yes, of course. She won The Apprentice.
Won The Apprentice.
Oh, she was a shark. She was awesome on that show.
Oh, she was so good.
It's such a testament to her work ethic. You know, if we think back when we were talking about how she started and her beginning days and how hard and how much she wanted to work in this business. And she did it through the entire 81 years.
That's right.
That's a testament to how much she truly loved what she did and she wanted what she did.
And she never stopped being relevant either, which I think is like such
current and with pop culture. And she kind of like Betty White has become. You know what I mean? Like you think that at 81 years old she would be kind of passé and you know just sort of like only for the old people. But no,
she has a presence on Twitter. She basically invented red carpets.
Yeah, I know. We've talked about that this morning with Courtney, called in from Fashion Week, and she said that people there were definitely feeling the loss.
She coined the term "Can we talk?"
Can we talk?
That was her line, right?
Know,
and everybody says it. I forgot it was hers.
Yeah.
That was her line.
That's her.
And who are you wearing? Of course, the big one.
Who are you wearing?
Did she create that too?
Yeah, she like recreated the way that red carpets were done, and then of course on Fashion Police on E and. It's just she will just be so missed.
She was when she came to see Buyer and Cellar in New York. She could not have been more gracious. She tweeted about it, she talked about it, and she came to see it again.
Wow.
She helped promote it. She helped, and she was so good. She also had that charity, God's Love We Deliver, which was basically a food truck that would go around and deliver meals to sick people
It's what she won The Apprentice, and the money went to that.
That's right. All the money went to that.
That was her charity.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was doing that, you know, for years, for many years, and she was helping people afflicted with AIDS before the government was helping them, and always a supporter of the LGBT movement.
People were saying when I was watching the coverage yesterday on E that, you know, even though her comedy was biting, oftentimes the person that she was behind that was, like you're saying, just so thoughtful and so sweet, and always sending flowers or something. And she didn't have her people do it; she would do it, and she would write the personal notes. And I just think she seemed like she was just so grateful all the time for this fabulous career that she had.
I know somebody whose mom wrote Joan a letter after her talk show got canceled. Joan had a talk show on Fox in the
early
80s, I think in the 80s.
70s, 80s.
Like
her husband, her second husband, I believe, committed suicide after that ended on Fox.
Oh my! Is that what happened?
Yeah.
But that was a tough time for her because, well, that of course, but also because when she started that show, Johnny Carson basically blacklisted her from the Tonight Show.
Yeah, because she was kind of the fill-in for Johnny.
Yeah.
She like broke into the boys' club
and then
there.
she became like the regular.
He was so angry that she like went and became his competitor that he never spoke to her again.
I heard when she called to tell him the news that he hung up on her, called her back, and then hung up on her again.
Yeah.
Johnny.
So mean.
He had a reputation of being a little
spicy.
Spicy's a nice word. you're too new here.
It was so that when her show got canceled, it was like, you know, obviously such a huge blow to her. And my friend's mother wrote her a letter saying, "I'm so sorry your show was canceled," and she wrote back a personal handwritten note that referred to my friend's mom's letter, that was funny but also touching and really, really thankful. And it was clearly she really sat down and wrote it herself. You could tell.
You know, it's so different than the feeling after Robin Williams passed. I think that there was so much focus and emphasis on, you know, him taking his own life and depression, and with Joan's passing, it's still as sad, but there seems to be like a celebratory feeling around it, doesn't there? Just like everybody going, what an amazing life.
Well, she lived so much longer than he did too.
She did. And you know, when you think about like an 81-year-old person passing away, it doesn't immediately seem like a tragedy because they've had such a long, full life. But she was not done.
No, she had an event planned the next night.
Oh, I'm sure. The next night after her surgery.
Yeah.
I mean, and she was at the Laurie Beecham Theater performing for 99 people the night before.
Yeah, she was not in poor health.
I
mean, this is definitely, you know, a horrible accident, and you know, and then of course now the clinic that she had it done. There's an investigation going on about the.
What we need to find out is how she had that stamina all the way to 81. That's what I want to know. I want that stamina.
And we need to bottle it.
Yes. And sell it on QVC.
Make millions.
Okay, so let's revisit Buyer and Cellar. So if people were watching the other day, let's talk about the show and what it's about real quick.
So Buyer and Cellar is a show that I did in New York, and then I've been on tour, and this is the end of my tour. I have 3 performances left of the tour, and it's a one-man show with this one, I'm the man, and it's a completely made-up story about a completely fictional guy who works in Barbra Streisand's actual basement mall.
Right.
She actually has a street of shops in her basement, and Jonathan Tolan's a brilliant writer, came up with this idea that maybe somebody has to work down there, and none of it's real, but it becomes an examination of what happens when somebody at the very top of the heap in show business, Barbra Streisand, and somebody who's at the bottom of the barrel, this struggling actor who ends up having to be the clerk in her fake mall, end up together and become friends and get to know each other and learn from each other. And it's very funny. And
is it exhausting for you, though? I mean, like, just watching that clip, you're so animated. You have to be. It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
How long is the show?
100 minutes.
100 minutes of just you.
Of just
You're
me.
like, yes, of just
What do you eat before you go on for 100 minutes?
Well, that's a great question, actually, because it varies from day to day because I can't eat anything that will revisit, if you know what I mean, in any kind of way.
No, you should. Do you know the press you would get if you did that?
What if I had to stop the show for potty break?
Hey, some people do that.
We are so excited. I'm so excited to see your show tonight. I'm going to go tonight. It runs through Saturday. People can get tickets just at AT&T Performing Arts Center, right?
Yes, and there's a $15 student rush.
Oh.
Yeah, which is
very
great.
Very good. Can you buy tickets at the door as well?
Oh, yeah.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful theater. You got to check it out.
Thanks, Michael, for coming back.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me
Come
talk about
back
Joan.
again anytime.
Twice in 1 week was great.
Yeah.